big supporter of crowdfunding, and if you're in the giving spirit this holiday season, I have dug up 5 very talented indie devs who could definitely use your charitable holiday donation. I'm Jess McDonald and you are watching The Gist. Deathfire Ruins of Nethermore actually ran what was almost a successful Kickstarter, although almost was the operative word, which means they're now on to Plan B. That is, raising money on their site. Having missed out on their $390,000 goal by raising just over half what they needed, the CRPG is now still waiting to be made. G3 Studios includes devs who've had a hand in games like Sacred and Planescape and are aiming to create a classic role-playing game that isn't about grinding or beating up leagues of the same monsters. Deathfire is planning to provide a fleshed-out narrative through changing environments which revolve around your party of varying classes and attributes. There are 6 races and 8 classes to choose from, beyond which Realms of Arcania-esque traits have been incorporated to frame not only the character's strengths, but also their weaknesses. On top of that, there's turn-based combat, which is excellent, so think less Diablo 3 and more Might and Magic. Between the ages of 7 and, well, 22, I've sunk countless hours into the Might and Magic series, particularly 7 and 8. So for an old-school CRPG fan, Deathfire looks really cool. This next game has 3 of the things I love in any video game: puzzles, bucket loads of atmosphere, and an engaging story. Theory Interactive's Reset is a beautiful looking first-person sci-fi mystery. You embody a mech, but there's no Titanfall-esque shooting to be found here. Instead, you'll be using your head to make progress and uncover the secrets of the game world. The game feels a bit like Portal at this point, and even offers up co-op with 33 puzzles to solve, but it's the fascinating Reset feature that grabs my interest. You can place a copy of yourself to overcome obstacles and reset back in time to your original position to essentially help yourself complete puzzles. Because the only person you need in your corner is you. I love games that aren't afraid to highlight quiet moments and pace themselves, so this one is a winner for me. Next up, we have a complete change of pace with Diplopia, a virtual reality game designed to help sufferers of strabismus and amblyopia. If, like me, you hadn't heard those words before, basically strabismus is crossed eye, which affects about 4% of children, while those who suffer this in both eyes causes diplopia, and amblyopia is lazy eye. Diplopia is a video game that sends different data to each eye and subsequently uses the Oculus Rift to allow sufferers to see in 3D, quite apart from being perfectly enjoyable for gamers without amblyopia. The game itself is about bouncing a ball around a room with a paddle to destroy blocks and grab power-ups. Given that the brain must incorporate both sets of data from each eye to win, this is what helps strabismus and amblyopia sufferers. It's often forgotten just how clever and useful games can be beyond their firmly rooted place as an entertainment medium. Thankfully, Diplopia and games like it are helping to reinforce that. Next up, we have a space simulation game from Blackish called New Orbit. They're looking to fund the 2nd chapter of their space adventure. Earth is no more, you're currently one of a handful of survivors, and you're currently floating in a tiny damaged shuttle alone and in the middle of space, which, if gravity was anything to go by, just isn't nice at all. The game consists of 10 story missions and a huge playground to serve as a post-story mode addition where you can build up your ship from scratch and get gradually bigger and better. This mechanic looks to be one of the best game features. You can tack any module onto your ship in the building process and it will affect speed, fuel, energy use, and storage respectively. If you're a custom build it up from nothing kind of gamer, this could be right up your alley. Personally, I'm always a fan of a good survivor story. Last but not least, unless you're talking pixel-wise, the Cynic Project's Pixel Sphere is just lovely. Oh, and it sounds like this. I'll shut up a minute so you can listen. Pixel Sphere is a pixel art platformer which also happens to have music integrated into the game mechanics. As creator Alex Smith puts it, art and sound has been fused together in a meaningful way. This game is 2 years in the making and is inspired by Super Mario World and Sonic the Hedgehog. The soundtrack is obviously a huge part of what makes this game more than your average side-scroller. It sounds and looks simply beautiful. As you'd expect, the name of the game is exploration and immersion into the game's world and story, but puzzles and side-scroller challenges will also be incorporated. Weirdly, this game reminds me of a side-scroller called Turtle Odyssey that my brother and I used to be really into when we were kids. I think it's something about a 2D side-scroller that just oozes with charm and is infectiously sweet. If you do feel like passing holiday handouts onto internet strangers, let me know which one of these games would get your dollars and which crowdsourced project you've supported the most so far. For me, it was an obscene amount of money into Dreamfall chapters, but I regret nothing. That's it from me this week, but be sure to join me again next week with my response to the Game of the Year season. Have a great Christmas, and I will see you soon.